all. Thanks for tuning into Girl Talk. We've got an excellent show for you, as usual.
You always
When
say
do we
that.
don't?
Prove
I
it.
do.
Prove it.
Okay, let me start. First, we've got Joe Conant. We love Joe here. He always gives us the tricks of the trade, some helpful hints. Whenever I haven't seen my dad for a really long time, he reminds me to check my batteries. This is Conant Automotive,
Right,
by the way.
in Stoughton. And he is our Girl Talk automotive. Well, he's really our reminder just to do the things we need to do.
He is.
Now, I rode with Jessa recently in her car. Have you checked that left tire that's low on air?
I did finally, but I will admit, I drove on that for 2.5 weeks before I finally
I followed
fixed it.
Jessa out of a shoot the other week, and she had a tail light out. Did you fix that tail light?
I got it. That fixed also, but again, that was about 5 days later.
Okay.
There were some other things that needed attending to, so I just knocked it all out, all
All at once?
Don't you feel better?
Who needs a tail light anyway?
I do, especially since you're going to. I didn't know you'd be grilling me on air as to the health of my vehicle.
I didn't think we would be either, but it is fun.
You're feeling the love, right?
I'm gonna run away off
Sure.
set before you start asking me any other questions.
Because we care.
Yes, that's right.
Bring
Everything's
it back.
working, wonderfully. If you see a pediddle out there, or a tail light out, or something is
No, you call them
deflated.
pediddles. Do you know what a pediddle is?
I didn't until I was in a car with someone and they like hit their roof.
Pediddle.
And then it said pediddle.
Is that a Midwestern thing? Because I know a pediddle, but I've heard people that don't.
It's when your light's out, right?
Or have you ever heard of
light is
slug
out?
bug?
Yes, I have heard of slug bug.
You played slug bug?
I am still an avid player.
Yeah. We'll be playing on the ride home.
Sometimes I'll take a picture of a slug bug and send it just to get ya.
Just to get you. Beware.
Via text.
Oh my goodness.
Who else we got, Elise?
Not that I text while driving. Anyway,
We're veering off topic. What's happening today?
Andrew Fry from Cosmic Delights is here as well. They're on Atwood Avenue near all of the cool, hip stuff down there. And he just came back from the Tucson Gem Show and has brought some stones to share with us and some remedies to get away those winter blues that you may be suffering from. I know that I get that right about February.
He called it negative clutter, energetic clutter.
Emotional clutter?
Something
All
like
of those.
Energetic
Used them
clutter.
all.
Yeah.
It's just clutter. Clutter's
in
always
general,
bad.
right? No one wants clutter, emotionally or otherwise. So that's exciting. And we actually learned before we had you in our presence, that Janet is a rock fan. And we're not talking about bands, we're talking about stones.
I like bands too, but yeah, I do. I have rocks in my kitchen, I have rocks in my bathroom, I have rocks in my living room, and even when I'm driving along, I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's a great rock. I don't know.
Are these for like decorative purposes, or do you feel some like...
Is it the energy?
Yeah.
I have to say it's the aesthetics.
Yeah.
I like earthy styles.
The earthy
and
look?
I love the look, yeah. River stones, things like that.
Coincidentally, she also admitted that she likes hands, but we're not going to be talking about that today in the segment.
You did admit that.
This is payback for caring about her low tire.
You ladies started it. Elise, I'm on to you next, but I know we have to talk about our next guest.
Yes, we do, Jessa. Nancy from Arbonne is here. Arbonne is help me out with this, European, not based, but formulated, not only cosmetics, but kind of the whole
primarily
works.
beauty products, yeah. Janet was discussing a lotion that she had tried. It's a wonderful product line that I've just heard nothing but good things. I'm excited to learn more about it because I haven't heard anything but positive things from users of Arbonne products. And also, it's a way to start a career.
Yeah, we met Nancy at the Women's Expo. Great lady. So stay tuned. She's coming up next right here on Girl Talk on your CW 57.
Welcome back to Girl Talk. Well, we turn our discussion next to some European formulated products maybe you've heard of. I know I've heard of them. Arbonne products. And with us we have Nancy Bills. She's an independent consultant and our regional vice president for Arbonne International. Now, if you're interested in a career or just learning more about the products, listen up. Nancy, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So you used to have a job outside of Arbonne. Tell us about that and then your change into this position.
I did. I was actually a budget and research analyst for the state of Wisconsin, worked for legislators for 35 years.
35, okay.
A long time.
Yeah.
And then I had kind of a major healthcare crisis that happened, and I was actually looking for something that probably would get me out of a little bit of a less stressful job, but also being able to make financially enough money to help support my family. And somebody introduced me to the products, and I absolutely fell in love with them. And I just was sharing them with other friends and family and realized that this actually could be a business opportunity for me, and it's turned into an opportunity for me to teach and train other people to do what I do.
Well, we'll have to learn more about the career part. I have to say, someone did give me some lotion, some Arbonne lotion, and I loved it. I loved the way it smelled and the way it felt, and I hadn't heard of it before, so that was a new and good first experience for me.
Yeah, and I think back to the career component, that you're really inspirational to women out there who may be like you and maybe in a different type of career, maybe not happy or not having the flexibility that they want to be with their family or the type of lifestyle they want. So I'd like to talk about that a little bit for people who might be hesitant about doing something like this. I can imagine you take a little bit of a leap of faith in starting a business like this. So what kinds of hesitations did you have personally? And then how have you changed your mind about those hesitations as you have developed this now quite large set of folks that are working with you?
Sure. Yeah, I think one of the biggest fears was trying to get out of the corporate thinking that I could actually work for myself and be the CEO of my own company and actually work as many hours as I wanted to, but then help other people to do what I did, which was, it's a simple business, but you still have to show up to work.
Yes.
And that's really important. I think that some of the fears of hesitations that I had was, could I really do this? How much did I have, did I know enough people? Were there the amount of time commitment in addition to working my full-time job, balancing volunteering that I was doing, volunteering not only with private groups, but also helping some other people in my family that needed my help. So the time commitment was a big deal.
Right.
But I met this wonderful woman that's now in the top of the company who said to me, you know, you're in business by yourself, or you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself.
I like that.
And it was really important to me to know that she would be there to help and teach and train me at every level that I needed.
Yeah, and so she was kind of your mentor, helped you learn and trained you, and now you get to be that inspiration for lots of other folks, women that are in this business as well. So congrats, that's wonderful.
Thank you.
And I love that you clarified that you don't have to just do this. I mean, for many people, this can just be an added paycheck, correct?
Correct.
With that added paycheck, what else did Arbonne offer you that interests you and set them apart from other companies kind of that have the same setup?
Sure. I think one thing that, and I'm kind of a black and white type of thinker, I really want to know what's in it and what I can get out of it if I do what they tell me.
Right.
So I looked at other people that were accountants, that were physician's assistants, teachers from all occupations, HR people, stay-at-home moms, and I realized if we just followed this recipe for success that my upline would offer me, any of us had the potential of being successful. And so I knew that I just had to do what they told me and not really overthink it. I think overthinking it is a big deal for people. So that's what happened.
So you sort of answered my next question. I was going to ask what the other consultants, what their background. You've been with the state. You were with the state for 35 years. What are you finding other consultants' backgrounds are like?
Right.
All over.
Sure. Like we have one of, Carlita Nelson is a former physician's assistant in Oklahoma. I have somebody who's at the top level of the company who actually was a legal secretary. And she's been in it for like 22 years. And the amount of money that they make personally for their family is amazing, but the amount that they give back is just even more amazing. You know, the philanthropic ability once you get to some of these levels, and the time that you have to offer is superior to anything else.
And those are former careers now?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
That's incredible. Well, Nancy, thank you so much for sharing this topic with us. If you are interested in Arbonne products or you're interested in possibly starting a career or a side business of your own, get in touch with Nancy Bills. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks very much.
We'll be back with more Girl Talk after the break, so stick around.
Welcome back to Girl Talk. Next we have Joe Conant, so stay tuned for that. But first we have Andrew Fry from Cosmic Delights. They're located on Atwood Avenue. Andrew just came back from the Tucson Gem Show. Fossils were included in that as well as minerals.
Yes.
But today we're focusing on gems and crystals to be exact. You brought some awesome stuff back with you. I'm excited to learn about it. But first let's focus on people that are watching at home, and I'm sure the Girl Talk crew ourselves can get a little down in the winter. You call it energetic clutter or maybe just the winter blues. You brought some things that might be able to help us with that?
Certainly. So first up, we have white sage. Now, white sage has been used by the Native Americans for hundreds, if not thousands of years. They use it in many of their ceremonies and rituals and has been adopted by the neo-pagan community as well for their rituals and ceremonies. When you take a piece of white sage and you light it on fire, and while it's smoldering, you run it through someone's energy field, that's called smudging. Smudging has been done for also in these ceremonies for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Recent scientific studies have found that smudging might be one of the most powerful antiseptic technologies ever discovered because it kills airborne bacteria when it's being used in the air.
Wow, that's interesting.
You know, I had a ghost, well, I thought that I had a ghost in my apartment, and someone came with white sage and cleansed it for me.
Really?
That's the kind of energetic clutter that white sage is great for getting rid of.
And it's literally cleansing, as you mentioned, about bacteria in the air?
Yes.
Interesting. I like the literal translation, too.
Which one is this? This smells awesome.
So next up, we have Palo Santo. Now, Palo Santo is from South America and is used by the shaman there in very similar fashion.
It smells great.
It's also
smells
called
so good.
It's also called holy wood. The Incas have used it there for thousands of years in their ceremonies and rituals. To harvest this, the trees have to be naturally followed for between 4 to 10 years for them to cure and get their scent properties as well as the metaphysical properties that it carries.
Wow. And I want viewers at home to realize this is very potent smell, but nothing has been done to this other than...
Correct. It's the actual thing. It's not been added. There's no scents or oils or anything that have been added to it. This is the natural scent.
That's incredible.
It smells great.
We gotta go. We'll be smelling our wood. No. Okay, well, let's talk about some other things. Now, I think Elise made a good point. It is so easy to get down in the winter months. What else can you do to kind of just help us maintain a healthy, positive attitude?
Well, certainly. Well, outside of our store full of wonderful, amazing products, we offer complimentary smudge blessings as well as mini sound tune-ups. We have full sound oracle sessions, and we offer psychic readings as well. So there's a couple other things that we do to help out.
And when Elise brought us in, she mentioned the gem fossil mineral show you went to in Tucson.
That's correct.
And so let's talk about that, what you brought back.
Sure. Well, it was amazing several days. We saw just a fraction of the overall show, but I did bring a few specific things here to show you. So first up, this is called septarian. As you can see, septarian has a bunch of different things in it. It's also sometimes called dragonstone. Some of the pieces have like geode type inclusions with druzy in them.
Absolutely
but this
beautiful.
one, this one resonates with the throat chakra and is good to help with public speaking. So that's why I brought it along.
Good thinking.
At least it's helping someone.
Right.
So next up I have polychrome jasper. Polychrome jasper is from Madagascar.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful heart here. This was, they were looking for something to replace ocean jasper, which had stopped being mined in the early 2000s, and they found this in about 2006. And as you can see, it has a bunch of different colors, and it's great for igniting fire and passion in your life.
So how do you use those?
Well, just having them in your presence is kind of what gives them that gives you that energy. You know, stones have been around on the planet for far longer than humans have, and so just like if you meet someone from another country, they have their own nuances, and so I feel that stones also have those nuances from where they're from, wherever they are in the world.
That's an interesting point, that they have been around for so long and maybe have an energy that is carried through from those many, many decades and centuries of just existing.
Well, I think it's more than decades and centuries, but yes.
Thousands, millions, billions of years.
However long.
Incredible. Really great. Well, Andrew, thank you so much for joining us. Time goes so quickly, but we really appreciate you stopping by, helping us beat the winter blues.
Absolutely.
So, thanks
Can't wait
so
to get
much.
my hands on these.
Yeah, that's right. Andrew's with Cosmic Delights. Remind us where you are.
We're over on Atwood Avenue, 2334 Atwood Avenue, near the Barrymore, Monty's Blue Plate, all those great places over there.
Make sure you go stop over there and beat the winter blues. We'll be back with more Girl Talk after the break. Hello and welcome back to Girl Talk. So we've had all kinds of fun so far today, but this is the segment we've been promising you would be here. We're talking about winter maintenance for your car. I don't think there could be a more perfect time to have this discussion as the cold rolls in and we start buckling down, thinking about what could go wrong with our cars this year. This is Joe Conant, as you may recognize from Conant Automotive, and we're so glad to have you back, Joe. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. It's been a while.
So yeah, we're glad to see you and we love having you, and we love how you give us these great tips for our vehicles and let us just kind of shoot the breeze about any questions that we have. So let's kind of start with some of the things on the table and talking about what we can do to kind of get ready for the year.
All right, well, since winter is here, it's real simple to make sure that your vehicles start every morning. First things first is a good battery. I suggest every 3 years, and that might be a little bit early for some, but it's cheap insurance. A battery should cost you installed right around $130 anywhere.
Huh, that's it, huh?
And if you divide that up per year, it's pretty cheap insurance.
Yeah.
The other thing is having your oil changed, so that's done and out of the way.
Did you see my face? I need one, yeah.
It's just to make that car start when it's supposed to when we get down to the 10 below. Them are the two major things to get done.
Okay. And with the oil changes in the winter, now, typically you've told us that 3,000 mile mark. Do you think sooner, or are we still good at 3,000?
Well, mainly it's we set it at 4,500 on the oil that we use.
Okay.
I suggest going with a semi-synthetic or a full synthetic oil change. I'm glad you brought that up because you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
So you see the signs that say 1995 oil change. You're not getting what your vehicle needs.
Okay.
You're going to spend $50, $60.
I'm glad you asked or brought that up too. I never know if that's worth the money. You know, there's all these different price points and different oils, and I have an older vehicle, and going into the winter, you think it's worth spending the money on the better oil?
Oh, always. Always.
How do you know what oil they're putting in?
Trust, branding, brand name. Like if you go to like a Valvoline, Pennzoil, Quaker State. When you go to the lower price, like the 1995, they're generally using the lowest cost oil to make, because an oil change, the money that's made on an oil change is really not that much because you have so much tied up in the product itself. So 1995, you're not getting the greatest oil.
Right, because they've got to have some margin, or what's the point?
Yeah, you got to have margin.
Yeah,
I mean, we're in business, so yeah, you have to have margins.
So that's good to know. And I love the battery tip too, because when your battery does die, and I've had this happen, then you're stuck. And then you're dealing with expenses like possibly towing or having somebody come out to you. And for the price, I didn't even think it was that inexpensive to get that changed. It's really great.
They're very, for what you're getting, it's very inexpensive.
So
Isn't there a way to tell how old it is? It seems like I remember.
Yeah, it should be a date code right on the top there where it's punched out.
I'll see that,
generally, that's what they're supposed to do. A lot of places sometimes, get into a hurry and don't put the date that it's put in.
So interesting.
So you're just a guessing game. Quickly on the battery situation, this is a little piece of equipment that you can get for right around about $200. It may seem like a lot of money, but they do come smaller. And this is actually a jump pack, meaning you can jump start a vehicle. You can even jump start a big diesel truck.
Wow.
With just that.
And you can also power a laptop, your phone. I've recommended this to a lot of people that have kids that are going to college. They can stick that in their vehicle. And that way, they don't get the call on a Sunday night when they're 200 miles away. At least they can get home safe.
Or you have to ask a stranger.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I was just saying too.
Yep.
I just got chills because I've had to do that before, and it's always worked out. But if I had something like that, boy, that would take.
And that's a bigger unit. They do come smaller, and like I say, they're right around the 250, 250 range.
Where do you get that?
I know Farm and Fleet has them. I mean, everybody has them now.
Oh, really? Wow.
And what do you call them?
It's just a battery jump pack.
Okay. Now, what's this fun gadget?
This is something I recommend people keep in their vehicles. It's a snow broom. Basically, it's foam so you don't scratch the paint, so you can actually clean all the snow off your vehicle so you're not driving down the road with all this snow on it.
Especially the hood where it can blow
Yeah, it
back.
blows in.
Exactly. And also, since we're on that subject of cleaning off where the windshield wipers go, the cowl area, what happens is you'll get into such a hurry, you'll get the wipers going, and it basically will destroy the wiper motor. Because
they get
it's
stuck?
Oh
because
no,
it
I do
gets
this
stuck.
all the time too. I do everything wrong.
And
what
wiper
I'm
motors
learning.
are kind of expensive to replace, so you definitely want to get your car clean. On the wiper subject here, we got two kinds of wipers. You got the beam type, and you got the old suspension type, I'll call them. Well, snow and ice can get trapped in here, and then your wiper blade's doing nothing. And I know you've probably experienced that going down the road. You're not cleaning the window.
So it's
Where-
going, but it's not
Right,
cleaning,
it's not making
working.
contact.
Yeah.
Whereas this one here will make full contact with the windshield, and it's less likely to get snow built up on it. So there's a safety thing too.
How often are you supposed to change out your windshield wipers?
I recommend once a year,
Once a
twice
year?
a year
Okay.
maybe, because they are out in the elements, they're getting beat up, and people overlook them.
What another thing I need?
The beam, it's beam type. Basically everything made now has this type on it, new vehicles that is, but older vehicles, they have these for the older vehicles, but these will work also.
If you have the older ones, can you can
Yes,
switch
yeah.
to, you can go to
Yep,
either
you can
way.
get the new ones.
And what should we be spending on a set of windshield wipers like this?
You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
You should spend probably $15 to maybe $30 on a set.
Okay, that's we can do that.
Don't get
that's
the
not bad.
$2 ones because they're not going to work out for you.
Could be a stocking stuffer.
You know what,
$2.
Janet? That's not. No, we get the good ones if you're going to do that. Oh my gosh, Joe, thank you so much. Is there anything else here we want to talk about, or we cover the important
Real
things?
quickly. When you got car keys, have them look like this. One key, maybe house key, and the key fob.
Okay.
This is bad. You don't need all this stuff on your keychain.
Right.
It wears out the ignition lock cylinder,
Does it?
and it's just it's
Because of the weight?
because of the weight. That's always hanging on the little ignition lock cylinder, and it wears them out prematurely.
Interesting. I didn't know that. And safety, you know, when you're fumbling around getting into your car, you got to be careful safety-wise, too.
Exactly.
Joe, this is all fabulous. Thank you so much for these
You're welcome.
fantastic tips. Joe is from Conant Automotive out in Stoughton. Make sure you check him out. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you to all of our guests, and thank you for watching. Join us next time for Girl Talk.